Well, good morning and welcome back to the Garden America Show. That's right. The cue card's right in front of me, Tiger, just in case I forget what show this is. We are back. It is Saturday morning if you're listening to us and watching us live. I'm Bryan Main. We've got Tiger Palafox, who is at the control panel here. It looks like looks like an airport control tower station here, the way we've got everything hooked up this morning. But we are glad to have you back. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And for some of us, enjoying a 4-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tiger?
Yeah, some of us. Not me.
Did you work yesterday?
I did not work yesterday, but I do work today. Or what is yesterday? No, Friday. Yeah, I did work yesterday. Yes.
Okay. All right.
All the days are mixed up. I'm waiting here because we have our very own John Begnasco on air with us now.
Do we?
And I'm waiting to hear
is he ours?
If our audio comes back from his phone. You know what I mean? You know,
Yes.
like you know when he's sitting here and we go live and we can hear the show all of a sudden?
Of course, yeah.
But it didn't happen. John, good morning.
John, how are you?
I'm doing well.
It's interesting because with anything we do from a technology standpoint, especially something new, fingers are crossed, a few prayers, and guess what? We've got John on the air. Now, you are in Idaho for the next week or so. You've been there since last week enjoying Thanksgiving with your family, right?
Right. I'm coming home on Tuesday. Looking forward to some warm weather.
Well, yeah, it's 44 degrees here right now, so which is actually your high, right? This is our low. 44 is your high today?
Yeah, right around there, and it goes down to around 25 at night.
25 degrees. And I know that's not even like the coldest, but that just seems mind-blowing to kind of like think about feeling. My toes are falling off now.
So, John, what feels colder, 25 or 44?
Well, it depends what you're wearing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a certain point where, it could be 20 or 30. It's still freezing. 10 degrees makes no difference. So what have you seen up there this time of the year? Anything that surprises you or what's going on in Idaho during the month of November, early December?
You know what always surprises me is the amount of plants you can see here that we don't have in California, even warm plants. And I was trying to think, Tiger, why that is. And I think the variety is because there's more independent garden centers up here.
Uh-huh.
Down in San Diego, we have a lot of mass merchants. If you want anything special, you've got to go to either Mission Hills Nursery or Green Thumb or maybe Walter Anderson's. But, there's a lot of the same type of stuff. But here, where there's a population, like the population of Idaho, the entire state is less than the population of San Diego County.
Now the garden centers up there, though, a lot of them are grower/retailers, right?
I don't know if a lot of them are.
Uh-huh.
One that's near where my daughter lives, called Edwards Nursery, is a grower retailer.
Uh-huh.
But there's others that are kind of like a miniature Rogers Garden.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, and they're not
really
a grower.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just real unique.
Yeah. I saw a couple plants, of course, I had to buy and bring home.
Gee, what a surprise.
Yeah, but I had never seen, and you're probably familiar with it, Tiger, but there's a miniature aeonium. I think it might be a variety of aeonium cedifolium.
Okay.
But anyway, I got that. Then there was a mixed planter that had a jade plant in it. And I've seen variegated jade plants, but I've never seen one with white variegation, pure white.
Yeah.
So I had to buy that.
And are those outdoor plants for them? Or no?
No, they're all indoors here.
Okay. I was going to say, because these varieties of plants that you're talking about don't seem like they would be able to withstand 25 degrees
Right.
outside, right? So
yeah, that's why I thought it's just so surprising here that they've got more of those type plants than we do in California.
And how is the pricing there?
I would say comparable.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty comparable. The my daughter bought a cyclamen, which I had never seen before, and I've only seen one up here. They have a lot of different cyclamen, and there's a lot of new cyclamen, but she got one that if you look at it, it looks like a dahlia.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that one. Yeah, what color was hers?
It was kind of a lavender.
Yeah, it was okay. That's
lavender
fun.
with white. You brought in at one time, I think it was the Jix variety.
Yeah, and it was like a single petal one. Yeah.
From Schoenfeld's or somewhere like that, and the back of the flower is actually the interesting part.
Yeah. But that's fun. Did they only have the one color, or did they have multiple colors?
No, they just had the one. This is different than the Jix. By the way, if our listeners want to look Jix up on the internet, it's spelled D-G-I-X or D-J-I-X. I'm sorry, D-J-I-X, and it's a type of cyclamen. I think it comes from Schoenfeld, are the breeders, not positive, but somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, that's there are a ton of varieties, like you're saying. One with big flowers, one with small flowers, one with fragrance, ones that are just known for the foliage kind of a thing. And like what you're saying, in Southern California, we would never even know some of these plants existed because the variety just the selection just isn't there for us to kind of see or even be aware of. Where when you go to some of these other places, the growers there or the retailers there get behind them and they'll have them, and you'll be showing up to a garden center and be like, wow, I never even knew this happened. And meanwhile, like we're talking about there, they have to grow those plants like an annual or like a small time frame. They're willing to get it only for 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is. Where meanwhile here, we can almost have
when
it
do you want to do
year-round,
it? Name the time, name the place.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's so cool. That is so fun.
Hey, John, any snow in the forecast?
No. I think that next week they might have a little rain, but so far no snow. It's.
You all right?
Yeah, you know what? I'm hearing the show in delay.
Oh, because you have us turned up someplace else, don't you?
No. I've got it turned all the way down, and it doesn't seem to make a difference.
Oh, weird. Sorry about that.
Well, that means you get to hear it twice. Whatever you missed the first time, John, you can pick it up on delay.
Yeah, except you're asking me a question twice.
So we got a couple of minutes before the first break. We don't want to keep you too long, John, but we wanted you to check in and just catch up with our listeners.
Yeah, it was really good to talk to you guys, and can't wait to come back.
Yeah, exactly. We look forward to having you back in San Diego, being able to do a show and being able to show our listeners the plants that you picked out.
Yeah.
So make sure you pack them well so they ship over here.
Yeah, really
nicely. I don't want to see any damaged plants. Okay.
Hey, John, do it right.
All right.
If Shannon has to give up her seat, she has to give up her seat so that way we can have the plants be safely transported here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you discuss that with her. And by the way, Brian, I just saw that Lenore mentioned you were a year older. I think it was Lenore, so happy birthday.
Yeah, well, thank you. That was yesterday, so she's keeping track.
Oh, is your birthday yesterday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Should have got a little cupcake for you.
Yeah, you are. You know what? You are my cupcake, my little jam tart.
Oh goodness!
All right, John. Thank you so much. Safe travels. We'll see you back here next week, and
all right.
Glad you could take some time to be with us.
All right.
Take care, John.
Bye.
Take care. Well,
all right. Wow.
Let's see. About a minute to the next break. All right. So you know what this means now. We can go back to having various guests on the show.
Yeah, and we can talk about John now that he's off the air.
Yeah, I tell you what the heck? What was he talking about?
Yeah.
I don't think he said anything that was true. No, we tease. In fact, when I texted, not a word.
That's not a word.
We texted back and forth briefly last week, and I said, "Yeah, John, we miss you. come back so you can correct all the misinformation that Tiger and I gave.
Yeah, that was great.
I think he appreciated that. So
All
what
right.
we're going to do is take a break. You want to take a break and come back with the quote of the week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
We'll take a
perfect.
break. Thank you for joining us. So we're kicking things off. I'm Brian Main. John Bagnasco, well, you just heard Johnny's in Idaho, coming back this week. Tiger Palafox, we're going to take a break for our good friends on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live, questions, comments. And again, we come back with the quote of the week after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. Stay with us. Okay, we are back from the break here, back on Garden America. Tiger's house, Tiger's patio. We just heard from John Bagnasco. So far off to a decent start. And we're going to do the quote of the week and then explain what's going to be happening later on in the show. We're going to take a break after the first hour. The first hour as it pertains to Biz Talk Radio. Facebook Live will explain that. But first of all, Tiger, the quote of the week from this week's newsletter.
The leaves fall, the wind blows, and the farm country slowly changes from the summer cottons into its winter wools by Henry Beston. And it's it's just describing this time of year.
We're
where
segueing.
We change
Yep.
from the flip flops and the
Well, some of us.
Yeah, some of us.
44 degrees, you got your flip-flops on.
Well, I don't have my board shorts on or t-shirt,
but you
know?
would.
Yeah, but and now we're transitioning into
Yeah.
jackets and coats and hats
and
pants
heat
and
pumpkins and changes of colors. We've got a
Exactly.
few areas in San Diego where the color changes. We've got parts of 163 heading
Yep.
into downtown.
Oh yeah, the sycamore trees there.
And
yep.
we have some maple, don't we, here and there?
Nope, no maple.
Not at all?
Japanese maples, but
Japanese
no maples.
maple,
No
yeah.
maple trees.
Okay.
Sycamore trees. We have the liquid amber trees
Yeah.
that change colors, and then we have things like poplars and flowering plums and the fruit trees that are deciduous and different ones like that. But it's just that time of year we're changing over.
So let's tell our listeners,
Yes.
our Facebook viewers, this is more for Facebook, what
Yeah.
we're going to be doing today and moving forward as we continue to delve into some of the technical issues that we think we might have not completely solved,
Yeah.
but we have found a workaround.
So what we've been finding for our people that follow us on Facebook Live is that Facebook, sometimes and then sometimes doesn't, but it kind of kicks us off after a period of time, and we just think it's just because the Facebook Live broadcast is long, and in order for Facebook to
Right.
ensure what they're doing properly, they see that and they bounce it off.
They don't want you to be on you're kind of hogging
Yes.
the Facebook airwaves.
Yes.
If that's such a way to make a
thing.
comparison.
But so in order to combat that, what we're going to do is the middle of our show, which is when we normally announce, on Biz Talk Radio, how about we're going to do our long break.
We talk about the top of the hour news on Biz Talk.
Yes. We are going to shut down the first Facebook Live broadcast.
Right.
We're going to actually turn it off. So then we will go live again. So it's almost like we're going to do two shows. So you can't just seamlessly stream us.
Right.
What's going to happen is it's going to say this show has ended.
Yeah.
But if you go back to our main page and look, there's going to be a second one there.
Right.
And then you launch that one, and now we're going to pick it up.
Just like you would do prior to us kicking off the show.
Yeah.
So it's like Tiger mentioned, two shows, and we'll of course announce this. So give us about 2 or 3 minutes?
No, it shouldn't even be that long. It's just a minute. Yeah.
About a minute. So
Yeah.
we'll shut down. You'll see us shut down on Facebook, and then we'll start again. So don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're just gonna put some more gas in the tank.
Exactly. And
And-
hopefully this will prevent us from being shut down
Right, by Facebook.
uncontrollably. Because
Yeah.
that was the thing. We were kind of going along with the program, and all of a sudden it would just be like, oh,
You guys are done.
You're done. And,
Next.
and then now we're trying to scramble to get it together. So hopefully this will allow us to
we'll-
actually control.
We'll see.
it.
Hopefully that'll be the answer.
Yeah.
What do we have going on with our listeners? Questions, comments? What's
Well,
happening?
First off, I want to say happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
A big another year happening for you, right?
Another trip around the sun.
Another trip around the sun. It's a lot of fun. What was your birthday dinner? What did you guys do?
Actually, we went to Bully's yesterday. We had kind of a birthday lunch.
Oh, it was lunch.
Yeah,
More of
I did a
lunch.
Bully's burger. Then we have stuffed mushrooms and crabs, prime rib.
Nice. But that was basically Thanksgiving dinner right there.
Again, right?
Again.
So today's the day or this weekend we have to start eating some of the leftovers.
Oh goodness.
So it'll be a 2-day leftovers.
Yeah.
What's happening on our comments?
Let's see here.
Anybody enjoy
Finally
listening
here,
to
Lenore.
John?
Yep, everybody. Crepe Myrtle. Paula Manning just wrote Crepe Myrtle. I'm assuming that was a question, and I don't know that. He called and it was cold. There's a lot of chat going on, but
I like the fact that the people chat amongst themselves with
Right.
each other. It doesn't have to be us. That's fine. Notice the
Carla
sun is.
says happy birthday.
Thank you, Carla. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Some days it not this year, but some days it does fall on Thanksgiving. This day was the day after.
Nothing too much as
Okay.
far as the chat. No questions that I think we need to get to.
Okay, so
All right.
November into December. This sounds like an obvious question. What is cranking up at the nursery this time of the year?
Well, Christmas trees.
Okay,
You know,
there we
in,
go.
We got in our first load of Christmas trees, and we'll be getting in some more today and tomorrow.
What kind?
Noble fir, Doug fir, Fraser fir, Nordsman.
Wow, quite the variety.
Silvertip are those really kind of like sparse layered trees.
Right.
You know, a lot of people will like those ones. A little different than the standard Christmas
You know, a couple
tree.
of 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about the lack of trees available.
Yeah.
Has that kind of
Yeah.
turned around?
Yes, it has.
Are we back to like not a problem now delivering trees?
Yes, correct. It is back to a good amount of supply. The demand dropped for a period of time, and then I think the demand is holding steady now, and so therefore the numbers have been able to kind of recuperate.
It's like a
with
market
tree.
correction.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel that the industry kind of goes up and down. With some years, people want to have a live tree or cut Christmas tree.
Sure.
And some years, people will just put up a fake tree or not put up a tree at all. And so there's a lot of things that guide that through the year.
Right.
But we kind of monitor that and watch that. And then the other thing too
Poinsettias?
well, regarding Christmas trees, the other thing too is, it's got to have that feeling of
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
And right now it kind of does.
We're getting
And
it, yes.
it was cool.
Yeah.
It was rainy, and it's nice. It's very hard to get in the Christmas mood when it's 85 and
I know.
Santa Ana winds.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel people are feeling that Christmas vibe right now.
It went from almost overnight, very hot, and then bang. What's today's high? Well, yesterday it was 85. Today it's 69.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And there's some variations in between.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned poinsettias. Poinsettias are I know that there's a lot of people out there that might kind of judge me for saying this, but
We get judged every day. Go ahead.
I feel poinsettias are becoming one of those not as popular, not as cool thing to do anymore.
Have you seen that trend over the past couple of 2 or 3 years?
John mentioned right now back in Idaho about, how they have such a wide variety of plants that not even we have here in Southern
Sure,
California, even though they grow wonderfully here in Southern
Right.
California. And I kind of feel like that's what's happened to us here is, the poinsettia market has just been so saturated that you can get them anywhere and everywhere, and the price is not, very
There's nothing novelty or novel about it. Yeah.
That it's very hard for a poinsettia grower to bring in something new or different or unique because
We got to take a
you
break.
have to price it.
Yeah, we're going to take
Okay.
a break. I want to stay on time, and we'll continue this brief little conversation on poinsettias. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm Brian Main, Tiger Palafox. Questions, comments? Absolutely. We are broadcasting live from Tiger's Backyard here in San Diego, California, back after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. We are back from the break. Thank you to those that are tuned in on Biz Talk Radio. We appreciate you tuning in from wherever you are across the country. Hour 1, hour 2, maybe both hours. That's fine. You can always catch us live. Go to our Facebook page, Garden America Radio Show, and catch us live. If you have questions or comments, we will certainly do our best to get to you. And you can be part of the show live every week. And again, this show and most every show this afternoon will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, Garden America Radio Show. And just prior to the break, you want to wrap up the poinsettia talk?
So,
just briefly.
One question I want to have for our listeners, because they are chatting and we have some questions that we have to get to.
Okay, beautiful.
But aside from the standard red poinsettia, what would you like to see? Because
there's the white. They got white ones.
There's white.
Yeah.
There's variegated.
Yeah.
There's pink. There's orange. There's ones with crinkly leaves. There's ones with rosette style leaves.
Why don't we start marketing the orange ones during Halloween?
Well, they did. They tried
did they?
and it didn't work.
It didn't.
Very well.
Yeah,
people just weren't into it at the moment. And so, anyways, it's just a thing. I really like cyclamen, so because they're such a cool variety. Paul had mentioned crepe myrtle because we were mentioning trees that change color.
Right here, right.
And crepe myrtles are also ones that switch from a green to a burgundy color foliage, yellowish and orange as well. So yes, Paula, that is a good fall tree as well. Joyce, I have about 15 reseeded tomato plants along with my cosmos that have reseeded. It's kind of crazy. So she just has volunteers coming up left
the
and
gift
right.
that keeps on giving.
15 tomato plants? That is a lot of tomato soup in the future.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Ketchup. You want to make your own ketchup.
I loved the bucket of trunk trimmings Mission Hills Nursery advertised on Facebook, and that's what we do. So when we sell a Christmas tree, we cut off the trunk, because it's what we call a fresh cut. It's kind of like It's kind of like when you get a bouquet of flowers home. You cut them and stick them in water so they absorb the water.
Yeah.
So that's what you do with a Christmas tree. But then we sell those buckets of stumps because when you put them into a fire, it releases that kind of piney fragrance. And so it's kind of nice to add a few of those into the fire.
Now how dry are those?
They're not super dry, so they do pop a little bit.
I was going to say, okay.
But that's part of the
charm.
The charm and the fragrance that comes out in it. So... and that's why you don't want to fill your fire with them. But
no.
But you throw one or two of them in when your fire is going, and it'll add that nicely scented room aroma there. With it's kind of like having one of those Airwick fresheners.
Yeah. Only this is the real deal.
Yeah. Exactly. Lila says happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay. John and Bonnie here. I have a Nandina planted around a small spa as a kind of modesty hedge, a foot high. They don't like the water chemicals splashing or evaporating on them, and they keep dying. Is there another chemical resistant plant or grass that could be used instead? And happy birthday, Brian.
In other words, so they can keep something around the pool.
Yes.
But the chlorine and splashing is not going to affect them.
And he's so right about Nandinas not liking that. They are very fickle plants. A foot high, so I'm assuming he had the Gulfstream Nandina, which is the compact, or the Harbor, which is a compact variety of Nandina. So there's a couple plants right off the bat that I can tell you is, number one is just myrtus, boxwood, or myrtus is a myrtle, and then boxwoods as well. Those are green. Boxwoods, you can get ones that turn to a little bit of yellow, orangey color in the wintertime, or they have the ones that stay green year-round. And then myrtus, nice compact hedge-like plant as well. They have some small varieties. So both of those would do well. I would not recommend the grasses around the spa just because they're a little bit to control and maintain. But, there's a lot of, Lomandra. There's some short varieties of Lomandra. There's Liriope. That would be also a good kind of grass around that.
How much landscaping have you done around people's pools?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, I mean, in Southern California, everybody has a pool.
And everybody wants to have some kind of foliage or something nice around their pool.
Oh, for sure. But it's got to withstand, like he's saying, the chemicals, the splashing, and all that.
So this is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is some people will even do a star jasmine kind of like border around. And the nice thing about that is they have a nice white fragrant flower if you're sitting in the spa that adds that a little bit to there. So those are some good suggestions for you. I think if you want to go with those. But yeah, the Nandinas are difficult.
I turned around because what do you have near your pool?
I have plumeria. I have a lemon.
Okay.
I have cycad. I have dipladenia. I have star jasmine. I have mimulus. All around the pool. Yeah, they love it.
And they have no problem.
No problem at all. It looks like Tiger has an oceanfront property with that fog back there, right? Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah. I'm going to change the camera setting here in a minute because we always talk about it. We were talking about this right before. Now, when you look behind, it's just
washed
all
out.
washed out.
It's washed out.
Because
the fog
when we-
has lifted.
When we start the show, it's kind of darker.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We are super dark in the show, but then behind.
So I assume this is the like adjusting contrast
Yeah.
to some degree. Take the brightness away, and the background won't be so washed out.
So Carla says that she still loves the traditional poinsettias. And Lenora said she bought an orange plumeria and hopes it will be orange. It's just starting. And the orange is the new plumeria craze color. Everybody wants orange ones. It's kind of funny. But yeah. Let's see here. Switch this back to 0.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, now we're dark.
Now we're dark.
Let me settle it down a little bit. Look at that.
Let our viewers on Facebook know.
Yeah, right.
We have the right contrast between us and the back. That looks a little better.
A lot better, right?
Maybe some people would rather see the background than see us.
Yeah. So yeah, but plumerias are it's tough because right now if you buy a plumeria, you don't know what you're getting.
Well,
Because it's probably losing leaves and you don't have flowers on it.
Yours looks like mine. This is the latest mine has ever looked as good as it
and I've got
does.
some that are still blooming down there. It's pretty awesome. Tanya, my question. I thought I should plant sweet pea seeds in January. However, my volunteers from my plants last year are already up to about 4 inches. When is the best time to plant sweet peas? I'm thinking of also planting seeds where they are growing to extend the bloom time. So, Tanya, you were right that for most of the area, January is a great time to plant the sweet pea seeds. Yours are coming up early because obviously the weather has dictated it. One of the problems with them coming up earlier is just because they come up doesn't mean that they are going to grow or bloom any quicker.
Yeah.
Though. What's going to happen is they're going to come up, but they're going to probably stop. And then, believe it or not, the ones you plant in, December, January will catch up with yours that you have in the garden. And
it's going to be a slow growth
and sometimes there's a risk and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do, but sometimes they'll start to grow and then something will happen where they'll actually kill them. So, yes, wait until January. But what you'll see sometimes is the ones that you plant in January and the ones that are coming up now will actually time out at the they'll meet each other.
Right.
They'll be at the same time. So what you're thinking of extending the season could possibly happen, but more likely than not, what you need to do is change the varieties and then you can extend your season. Because if you plant the same one, there's a great chance they're going to bloom at the same time, even though you planted them in January.
Right.
That happens a lot with people's tomatoes. People will start tomatoes early, and which is fine. They'll grow, but they actually don't set fruit.
It's too cold to
until
say. The temperature.
same time.
Right.
So even the people that started their tomato a little bit later, they're going to get the same fruit at the same time as you, even though you planted yours early. So similar thing will happen with the sweet peas. So just kind of think about that, Tanya.
We got about a minute.
All right. I think that we are caught up on our questions. Good to know. We got a good amount of people watching the show. So I do just want to remember that what are we going to have? One more spot?
We're going to have one more segment after this.
And then we are going to shut down this broadcast.
Right.
it will say this broadcast has ended.
Right.
Go back to our page. A new one will
new
start.
one. So we're
and we
doing
will
this on
continue it out
purpose.
there. Yes, we're doing this on purpose. Unlike before, where we didn't do it on purpose.
This is like a reset. So hopefully Facebook will be a little more kind to us by doing it this way. So that said, we're going to take a break because we've got some people on BizTalk Radio that need to hear our sponsors, Fertilome, our major sponsor, so thank you to Fertilome. But yes, this break is for you, BizTalk Radio. Facebook Live, we just keep on rolling right along from Tiger's house here in San Diego. I'm Brian Main, Tiger Palafox, back after these messages. Thank you for our sponsors and all the support we get from BizTalk Radio. Stay with us. I must say, Tiger, for BizTalk Radio, that was one heck of a break. We like
one heck of a break.
We like to rate our breaks.
Yeah.
From 1 to 10, 10 being the best. That was a solid 8 break. Back quicker on Facebook Live. And by the way, speaking of BizTalk Radio, already this is the final segment of Hour 1. We come back 6 minutes after for BizTalk Radio, top of the hour news, and that is when we will shut down the Facebook Live broadcast and restart it again in about a minute or two after we take that break. What was that you had right there, Tiger?
So, before the break, we were talking about Tanya and sweet peas, and time of year,
and when to plant,
plumerias,
right?
And time of year. Well, I just went and cut some of these flowers down in my garden. This rose is Gold Marie. Beautiful kind of orange, yellow rose, just a very hardy plant. The foliage is looking wonderful. It's a giant bush right now. And then this is funny. This one is the orange juice. So this one is, not showing the orange color like it normally does, but at the same time, very pretty. And, we've talked about this before. The roses are doing great right now.
They're fine.
And they're loving it. But it hasn't gotten that cold yet.
We're pushing the envelope.
Getting right on that cusp of things will start changing a little bit here.
I've still got Green Planet. I've got a Laura Bush Rose, Lemon Spice. I think I've seen the last of my Pope John Paul blooms for the year. But yeah, it's especially because I did a severe cutback about 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like, okay, one more spurt.
The nice thing with the severe cutbacks is the foliage comes out just
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
I will be doing that every year, no doubt.
Yeah. And if this time of year, if you've got salvias.
Right.
Excuse me. Salvias and some of those perennial kind of plants, you want to start looking at them and being like, okay, it might be too late to cut them back now. You wait until maybe about January or so. But if you do a nice cleaning and cutback in the spring, the flowers look great.
Right.
The foliage looks great. There's a lot less dead growth in the middle, and that's nice to have. Lisa wrote, I have tomato seeds that did the same thing. They came up randomly. So she had some tomatoes that came up randomly, and they now covered a mini greenhouse. So they are now covered in a mini greenhouse over a trough. So I wait and see. So she had some seedlings that came up naturally, trying to protect them through the wintertime. Yeah. And, they'll survive in a greenhouse. They'll be fine. You, again, you're not going to get fruit. You're not going to get some of the things that maybe you would until the season is actually meant to be for the tomatoes. Because
right.
We've talked about this. It's not just a matter of the plant being alive. It's a matter of, daylight hours, temperatures, pollination, all of that is what drives fruit, vegetables. All of that stuff needs to be in sequence. That's why plants have seasons. Is their pollinators are happening during that time of year. The daylight hours are happening during that time of year. The nighttime temperatures and daytime temperatures are happening during that time of year, and that's why they have that season. You could simulate that in a greenhouse.
Yes.
But
it's artificial. It's artificial.
And it's a challenge. I mean, do you know that back in the day, poinsettias, they actually had to tarp their poinsettia greenhouses, cover them to simulate nighttime hours because they were trying to get them to grow in a time of year that was not natural to them.
You can wake a bear up from hibernation, but is he going to be happy?
I don't know. Tell me about it.
I mean-
how about you do that and tell me about
Yeah,
it, and I'll
right.
just trust you.
That's like that waking the sleeping bear analogy. But you're right. You know, it's people get excited. Oh, look, it's not even that time of year, and I've got blooms. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the yeah, but because then as you said, there's a reason they have seasons.
Yes.
They know better than we do.
Yes. Lenore asked, I'm looking for a orange rose, and I can't get a really orange one. Can you repeat the name of yours? Lenore, I'm going to write it for you, but I'm also going to repeat it. Orange juice. And this is one that I got from the auction.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
I don't think it's readily available, but if you write John an email, he might be able to point you in the direction of where to get it from,
Right.
or if there is some
He has
available.
connections.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's none available, we can get you some cuttings from mine, and you can go from there. But I will write
that's
that.
John at GardenAmerica.com for those that are
Yeah.
not familiar.
And Tanya said orange juice.
Orange juice, yep. OJ.
OJ. Exactly. So orange juice, and I think we're all cut up. Morning, minus John. Happy belated birthday, Brian from Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. So I'm looking at your plumeria.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this one's right next to my house. It looks a lot better than the ones that are kind of more down in the yard.
So how, lack of a better word, how bad do you expect that to look every year? Because right now it looks good. So how, in other words, when I say how bad do you expect it to look, when will it look tired? When will it look like it's going through its hibernation?
Well, this one here being next to my house is so because houses radiate heat.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So
right?
any plants
It's warm.
next to the home, even though people thinking like, oh no, it's cold out here, it's chilly. But the thing is that houses actually has this bubble around it that radiates heat. So anything next to a house is going to be much different than anything 10 feet away from the house. Like the listeners can't see, but you see this foliage here. Look at how big it is. Look at how long the leaves are. Look
Yeah,
how good they
exactly,
are.
yeah.
Look over there, Brian. You see in the corner by the fence? Look at that plumeria. You see the foliage is much smaller. There's less foliage. It's starting to yellow.
It looks like I would expect plumeria to look.
Right, exactly. And that one's just, 30 feet away, 20 feet away?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So what happens, though, to this one here is it doesn't change like the other ones. So the other ones go through this like, oh, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold, it's warm.
It's more steady here.
I kind of like, I'm gonna turn yellow, I'm gonna drop some leaves. This one, what's gonna happen is there's gonna be this cold snap that will happen. I'll walk out one day, all the leaves will fall down.
I was going to say, yeah, okay.
So
that
that's what
answers
it
my
takes.
question.
That's what it takes. It doesn't change. It just goes from I'm alive to I am dormant.
Exactly. Okay. We caught up on the questions?
We are caught up on the questions.
So what is going to happen here now
Yes. So just for you all to
on
remember,
Facebook Live?
we are going to shut down this Facebook Live just so that we can start it over again.
Right.
So,
A reset does not affect, obviously, Biz Talk Radio in any way, shape, or form. So, again, I do want to thank Stephanie. She's the one that keeps us on the air every week here at Biz Talk Radio. And, that said, we're gonna reset questions, comments, anything you can think about in the next couple of minutes.
and I will monitor both so I can carry them over.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, taking a pause for Biz Talk Radio. It's about I'm going to guess, a 5 or 6 minute break on Biz Talk Radio. We will shut things down here on Facebook Live and then restart them momentarily. So do stay with us, just like we're starting all over again prior to 8:06 here on the West Coast. I'm Brian Main. Tiger Palafox back after the news and these messages on Biz Talk Radio and Facebook Live. Welcome to hour number 2 on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. It is Garden America, Brian Main. John Bagnasco called in this morning. He's back next week. I'm with Tiger Palafox from Tiger's Abode, the estate here. Are we in Serra Mesa? Is this considered Serra Mesa?
Serra Mesa.
Serra Mesa, okay. Which means nothing to anybody outside of San Diego. But welcome back to the show. Hour 2, Biz Talk Radio, and in a sense, second half of the Garden America show on Facebook Live. So we are back and ready to roll. And hopefully more and more people will join us as they get used to this routine. Tiger?
Yeah, so I did want to follow up with a question.
Yes, let's do it.
Because, I want to make sure we do a good job of carrying over the show.
Right.
And before we had gone off, I think it was John, not John Bagnasco, but another John, who had asked about, do I have any cymbidiums growing outside. And we did a show a little while back where John brought in some cymbidiums. And
Right.
We talked about
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about dividing them, taking
Yes.
care of them,
Yeah, right.
and growing them. And so, yes, I do have cymbidiums growing outside. We do keep them in pots, just better drainage. They tolerate the temperatures out here just fine. They bloom just fine. And before the break, we also talked about this concept of plants requiring certain temperatures, daylight hours to bloom, and orchids are one of those. And Bryan, you have a Phalaenopsis orchid that you were wondering about. Phalaenopsis, the moth orchid, classic.
Flowers up and down, right
on
up
the spike,
right.
Kind of a thing. Foliage at the bottom.
I've got 2 left before they completely drop.
And so we were talking about how what were you going to do when it dropped, right?
I'm gonna cut it back down toward the. Well, you said pretty severely all the way down the chute.
Yeah. So there's 2 different ways that people kind of approach this. Number one, some people just leave the stem. The stem kind of dies back to a certain point. Sometimes people just leave it, and they will begin to bloom back from that stem. And it can do that.
But you're suggesting cut the stem.
From a lot of Phalaenopsis growers, they do recommend cutting it all the way back down because you get a bigger bloom spike, and it's a better bloom spike.
But now I've got to wait for that to grow again.
Yeah.
How quickly will that grow?
So
it just seems there's this panic, like I'm cutting it off all the way to the bottom.
So, and that's the thing, right? Like with the Phalaenopsis, if you were to naturally grow these, you would only get 1 bloom spike a year.
Okay.
Because there's only really like 1, maybe twice a year where they would get those temperatures, and the blooms are so long. Meaning when it starts blooming, by the time it gets to the last flower, it could be a month, sometimes 2.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
So what I'm getting at though is that Phalaenopsis, these plants, a lot of people don't realize this, but in order to make them bloom again, you should put them outside because inside it stays too controlled.
We need a little chill, don't we?
You need a little chill.
Okay, right.
Exactly. And so by putting them outside on their patio or a porch, you can give them that chill. Now it's like trigger, okay, bloom. They start their spike. They begin to set their spike. Within a month to 2 months, you have a spike now again. Now you can bring it back inside. You can have the flowers, let it do its thing. At the end of that, now month or 2, so you can get 3, maybe 4 blossoms a year on a Phalaenopsis if you do it correctly.
But cut that stem. Cut that. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
however long that is.
Yeah, exactly. And so John was asking about cymbidiums. Cymbidiums are also the kind of thing that require chill in order to bloom. That's why they like to be outside. So just understanding your plants is important.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to our new live. Here we go. And all right, Lenore, Veronica, Tanya, Sue, Carla, all of them are coming back. Man, we are doing well.
Well, let's
Well, no, but I'm saying like they
get it.
Everybody's transferring over to the new show,
and it's a good break.
Yeah.
It's take a little break, and here we go again. We're resetting. We're resetting an extension of the first hour.
And Tanya wrote, "Would be easier to find you with Facebook notification. Just FYI." Okay, Tanya, I'll look into seeing how we can do that, or that's the little notes that pop up if you follow us, you'll see this thing that Garden America is live.
And even if you didn't know it or forgot what time it was,
Yep.
And it's a good reminder. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. To tune of the top of the house shop. Carla wrote something. I don't know. John, it worked. John, I did just answer your question about cymbidium. That I do have some. If you go back and watch the show, you can hear all about the Phalaenopsis we talked about, the cymbidiums we talked about. And we've brought this up before that orchids. There's a lot of areas that are in snow, that are in the alpine areas that orchids do grow. There are some very hardy orchids. So
hey, what's going to happen to that Dieffenbachia that I have?
What do you mean?
That you divided and we transplanted it.
It'll be fine because
Just leave it outside.
number one, you have a patio.
Yeah.
Very sheltered, very protected.
It is.
And we talked about the building radiates heat. That your patio, even though it is chilly,
It's close enough to the house.
It's not freezing. It's not freezing
Right.
cold. So you don't need to worry too much about frost killing plants. And Dieffenbachia would be one of those plants that I'd be like, oh no, like
What about blooms?
Well, I mean, you don't do it for the bloom. It's just for the foliage. So, so the biggest thing that I think you have to watch out for is overwatering in this time of year. Because
just let it go.
It won't. Yeah, I would almost like you're saying not, because people will make the mistake of continuing to water their plants the same as if it was a summer. And number one, the water isn't going away. It's not evaporating.
Right.
Number two, every once in a while you're going to get a rain or a heavy dew, which now has watered that plant, and now you're giving it double water.
Yeah.
And then, the last thing is just you're not trying to encourage too much growth this time of year, because you want that tough, leathery, hard foliage to be on the plants, not the new, tender, young foliage. So you really just want your plants to sustain for the most part during this time of year. There's very few plants like a camellia that's blooming this time of year. Azaleas, some of those are blooming this time of year. But even then, shouldn't do anything to them.
I guess the key word is relax.
Yeah.
The plant needs to relax. You relax.
Rick asked, "Do we need to retype our questions?" No, Rick. I think we answered the questions all from the last broadcast. Rick, if I haven't answered your question yet, yes, please retype.
Yeah,
it.
and that goes for anybody. If it goes too long before we answer anything,
Yeah.
then just retype it real quick.
Yeah.
We'll get to them as quickly as we can. But
Exactly.
good question, Rick.
Yeah, and I love that our own listeners answer questions.
Yes, exactly.
That means they're following the show and following the broadcast, which is a lot of fun. For those of you that are just joining us, you missed John Bignosco earlier in the show. We had him join us via phone.
As we open the show up.
Yeah. So and now this will open us up to have some callers and listeners and people to kind of join us on the program.
Bring some more guests back.
Exactly. Joyce, my bok choy, spinach, kale are doing great. Remember, I planted them a month ago when it turned cooler than we had 80-degree weather. And that is something that, we talked about. Like, people want to start stuff early, and you just have to wait sometimes. But, because, bok choy, spinach, and kale do not like 80-degree weather. And sometimes they'll bolt. Sometimes that foliage will burn. I'm glad it worked out for Joyce, and she should be in the clear now. But, that's a tough thing sometimes when you're planting your plants and you get those strange weather changes. Okay, not sure if this is correct. I missed the first part. I found if the orchid spike stays green, it will set another spike right off of it and rebloom. And we talked about that. That if that sometimes the spike will just die to a half spike, and it'll stay green to a certain point, and then that new spike will come off of it. Having that new spike is like what we talked about, cutting back plants all the way to the ground and then let them come up new. It's that kind of look.
So it's like shutting off our show, then starting it over again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same plant, but it's new.
Yeah. the same but new. Lots of good stuff happening this time of year. What are you going to put into? Oh, you have cats, so you don't do too much interior Christmas foliage.
No, in fact, with the little 6-month-old we have now, cat, not a human baby, because we were in a couple of stores yesterday thinking about, we could get this, and no. Because that cat's going to eat anything.
Yeah,
it's destructive, really destructive right now to a great degree.
Do you do anything with your
maybe
fish
next
tank?
year?
Make it Christmassy.
I do have lights. I've got LED lights, and I can change colors. I can do sweeps. I can do dissolves.
You don't put a little Santa in the tank,
like a little fake Santa.
Yeah, like a scuba Santa that goes up and down.
Yeah, it's I don't have. It's all real plants. I don't have.
know. That is really impressive.
I should take a picture.
Yeah, that is really impressive.
And
Bryan has all real plants
all
in
real.
his fish tank,
Right.
and they actually do a good job of cleaning the water,
Oh, oxygen.
feeding the
Yep.
fish, giving them a more natural home.
We got to take a break.
Yeah, you went long.
I went long.
all right.
Sorry, Biz Talk Radio. We'll take a quick break. Facebook Live, Biz Talk Radio, back after these messages. Okay, we are back from the break. Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. John is back with us next week. I'm Bryan Main, Tiger Palafox. Just prior to the break, we were talking about the live plants in my aquarium. And just like any plants, I do have to add certain chemicals, good chemicals, that is, potassium, CO2, certain things that the plants need to thrive. We talked about the plants. They do supply a lot of oxygen to the fish themselves, along with some of the bubbles and pumps that I have in there. But I will get a picture of that because it looks like an underwater jungle. It's
And do you
really
have
a
to
nice
trim 'em?
atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. Didn't used to, but now because of all the good care they're getting now, they do need to be trimmed here and there.
We have a question about the Dieffenbachia that
Right.
we were talking about, and it came from John. Best way to propagate: better to lay the stem sections upright or horizontally on the growing bed, or another way. So I've always found, you do the cutting. You let it just heal just a little bit, in a week, and make sure it's not going to rot out or exposed to the sun or anything like that, and then just do vertical in a very light growing medium, and the roots will set. Some people will set them even in water. So some people will just take that stem, put it in water, let the roots set, and then they transfer that into a growing medium as well. The horizontal is another way. I don't think it's necessarily better, because I think that you can get some weird looking growth. But maybe that's
Yeah.
maybe that's what you
Maybe
want.
that's what
because
you want,
The
yeah.
plant's going to begin to curve or turn or change. So I do the vertical to kind of go from there with that. And I think the biggest thing is just not letting the base rot out. So don't use a heavy potting medium. Use a very lightweight, well-draining potting medium. And that's all that you should really need. Rick, I'm going on a trip to Thailand to celebrate my sister's 70th birthday. We'll be there through Christmas. What plant life should I see there? So
Thailand this time of year? Is that what he's...
Yeah. He'll be there during this time of year. And
Wow. What won't you see?
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking. Actually, I have a friend going back. Her family's from Thailand. She's going back there for 3 months. I was just talking to her 2 days ago, Rick, about what she's going to do when she's back there. And she says, it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about 80 degrees with a lot of humidity. So as far as what you're going to see there, you're going to see a lot of their kind of dry weather growth patterns, which is a lot of the plants that you're accustomed to seeing. The plumerias, the tropical fruit trees,
Plants that like the humidity.
All of that's going to be in bloom in season there. Because this is the time of year for them. So you're going to be, kind of like what we saw in Costa Rica.
We saw in Costa Rica, yeah.
You're going to see orchids and trees and bromeliads.
Right. And we were there in April.
Yeah. And so, you're going to have a lot of fun there, Rick, because it's going to be throwing you for a loop.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you are accustomed to not seeing this time of year,
You're going to see. Yeah, exactly.
And it will be in bloom and it will be looking good. So, definitely get out and take a look because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Watch out for the snakes, Rick.
Carla, getting ready to decorate for Christmas, so my Phalaenopsis orchids will be going outside in a protected area. It will help them. It helped them rebloom last year, and that's what we just talked about. Definitely get them outside, protect them. You don't want them freezing, but protect them. Veronica, when we had cats, we had to put a hook in the ceiling and wired the Christmas tree to the ceiling. We also used unbreakable ornaments, toddler and cat proof.
Oh, yeah. It's like plugging up the holes of your outlets when you have little kids.
Safety, proof your house.
This
for
cat,
your
the
cats.
little one, Crosby is just so rambunctious. It's like having a 7-year-old kid
Yeah.
that's got the zoomies all the time.
All the time.
And when you tell him not to do it, just keep doing it. No, I said don't do that. Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. No. You said yes.
And anything. The cat doesn't miss anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be filing your nails. You come. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What is that?
It's very.
What do you mean? How does this interest you?
Yeah.
And he watches TV. He can an hour in front of the TV set.
Oh, that's so
Anyway,
funny.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right, we are caught up on the questions again. Again, thanks for all of you joining us again. Our Facebook community. Happy holidays. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. You had 2 of them. You had a Thanksgiving dinner, and then you had a birthday dinner that was the Thanksgiving
It's
dinner.
a heck of a weekend.
Exactly.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, and and then now we go straight into the holidays where
This
it's
is it.
Christmas. What do we have? 3 weeks to Christmas now. I mean,
Well, December 1st is Monday, right?
yeah,
Is that
so,
right?
And then
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Three and a half. Yeah.
Exactly. And then right around the corner is New Year's after that.
Yeah. I'm taking the first week off the new year.
Are you?
Yeah, from
Nice.
my regular job during the week.
Yeah. Just to hang out?
Yeah,
That'll be nice.
get things done.
Yeah. It's the New Year's resolutions started.
You know what? My New Year's resolution is never make a New Year's resolution. If I decide to do something, it could be January, it could be June, it could be October. I'm not like, the new year I've got to do it. I just, it's like I go to the doctor. He says, you know what? Stop eating this or that for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Rick asks, are the camellias budding out now? Should you fertilize? Rick, man, I thought you listened to our show.
Right now,
Rick.
you don't fertilize now.
No. The camellias are either blooming or budding right now. And you do not fertilize camellias when they are blooming. That is their dormant time.
Mm-hmm.
That is the time of year. If you fertilize them, what's going to happen is you're going to push off those flowers, and you're not going to get flowers.
Waking up that sleeping bear.
Exactly. So definitely don't fertilize your camellias when they are budded or in bloom. So you got a few months that you can just take it easy.
In all fairness, Rick could have been out of the room.
Yeah.
People come and go.
People come and go. Carla, Bryan, remember the days when you relished the idea of putting thorns in garden to torture the cats? Dana had a positive influence on you?
Wait a minute. I never tortured cats. What's going on?
Oh, I don't know. I believe Carla. I believe there was some time when you
No.
probably were like, I'm going to put thorns on all my plants.
No, what else did we recommend back in the day? Was it cocoa mulch?
Yeah.
Is it poisonous or
Well,
just
I mean,
keeps them away?
It came from chocolate. And so, they talked about it was poisonous to eat because animals shouldn't eat
They shouldn't
chocolate.
eat. Right.
But it also, the texture said it would keep away cats and dogs. And then it became this whole thing that it's poisonous. You shouldn't do it. But then people said, no, it's not that poisonous. It's kind of like, while we're talking about it, it's kind of like the poinsettia. People talk about don't put poinsettias in your house because they're poisonous.
That's not true.
Well, it's not true. I mean, it's not true in the sense of
They're not going to keel over and drop
Yes,
dead.
exactly.
But it's not good.
it's not good. And
We got to take a break.
they would have to eat like 8 plants. And if your cat or dog is eating 8 poinsettia plants,
There's something wrong.
We have other
There's
issues.
other issues. We can talk about this after this break. Biz Talk Radio Facebook Live, back after these messages. Couldn't wait to get back from that break. Welcome back, Biz Talk Radio Facebook Live. I want to go back and just address Carla for a moment or two here. Yes, Dana's been a great influence. There's no doubt about it. The fortunate thing is we're both animal people. So there's never an issue as far as that in the house. If we could save every animal, we would.
Yeah.
It's not practical. We're not going to do that. Maybe someday. But, we're getting back to the thorn thing. That's kind of funny. I don't recall that. But, I've come – you know what? Later on, as you get older, when you're young, I never did that or who said I did that?
Oh, yeah.
When you get older, you go, yeah, maybe I did. I just don't recall right now. But if you recall, that's fine.
Well, that is one thing that I would say, gardeners, I think gardeners get hung up on something in the sense of we try to emphasize a particular thing so much that sometimes we don't change or we're not willing to change. But I feel it's okay to change. I mean,
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, let's bring John into the program in the sense of, when he first started off gardening, his first passion was houseplants.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first passion.
Right.
Okay. And he also really loved orchids. And, and then he moved into some of the other varieties of plants. Roses did not become his passion until he was already over the hump in the gardening. They were very late in life that he kind of developed that passion.
Do you remember the
for
story?
roses.
He said that he talked to somebody who said, don't you think if you're going to...
He was the buyer. He was the buyer for Nurseryland or Armstrong.
Shouldn't you maybe grow roses yourself and learn about roses? And it was, like you said, kind of a midlife thing where, maybe I ought to.
Yeah. And
it became a passion.
Right now, I love plumerias, and I talk about plumerias
Yeah, I do
lot,
too.
But there will be a day where maybe I love roses, or maybe I love orchids.
But you do. In the last few years, you've kind of got on the rose bandwagon.
Definitely. And so, that's where I think, gardeners, and the hardest part is that they financially commit or space-wise commit a lot.
Right.
Like I know a lot of people that have 100% dedication to roses or plumerias or plants in
orchids.
Their
Orchids is a big community.
And they're not willing to change because they're so heavily invested in it that to change now would be just a very problematic. But there's ways to do it. And there's always new things out there with gardening. So, be open to change, be open to something new. And I think that it makes it fun and interesting.
Don't be afraid to fail.
No, don't be afraid to fail. That is definitely a very good motto to live by.
Really, seriously.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it. Just don't be afraid to fail. That's why, like, John will say something every now and then. He'll say, hey, you haven't spoken much about whatever the plant might be.
Yeah.
He goes, what happened to it? I'll say, oh, what happened to that plant?
It committed suicide.
I have to go. I have to go home and look for that. I'm not sure what happened to that. Glad you brought that up, John.
A couple comments to follow up on. Lisa wrote that she used pine cones in the garden to keep the neighborhood cats out. Pine cones, pine needles are great
and it
mulches,
looks really natural.
And it does keep a lot of critters, animals out of your garden. So that is a great tip, Lisa.
So I think she's saying I should stop torturing plants with thorns.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to go that far. That's too extreme.
Sue wrote how to tell when to pick avocados. And then Lenore wrote avocados never ripen on the tree.
They don't.
You got to pick them, and then they ripen on the counter, they say.
Can you put them in a paper bag with an apple?
That will
ethylene gas?
That will encourage the ripening process. But to answer your question, Sue, number one, the thing that you look for most is size. So when you're looking at your avocado tree, when they get to the size that you kind of want them to start being is when you start to pick them. And just pick one.
Yes.
Leave it on the counter.
Yeah.
See what happens. It should ripen on the counter after 3 to 4 days. It should ripen.
That's your test avocado.
If it doesn't ripen, then do not continue picking avocados.
Right.
Because that means that the ones that are on the tree are going to begin are not fully developed yet, not going to ripen soon. If it does ripen within 3 to 4 days, then now you can start picking some of the other ones off of your tree because they will then ripen on your counter. And after this a few weeks, it might cut down to 1 to 2 days on the counter. But they don't ripen on the tree. They go straight from not ripe to falling off the tree.
That's what happens.
And you got to be careful with that. And I will say, for those of you that are avocado growers, just because it falls on the ground
doesn't mean it's ripe.
Well, it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to pick up those avocados and now, bring them into the kitchen, let them ripen.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll be over ripened and they'll rot out. That's not good. But hey, sometimes they're a good avocado, and it's not, at $4 a pop or $2 a pop that they are nowadays. There's this very valuable use.
Don't trip
fruit.
over the shallow root system.
Yeah, there you go. Carla wrote, sorry, Bryan, but Bruce used to recommend it, and you thought it was a great idea. did not mean to imply you ever wanted to torture an animal.
No, this is all fun and games. Carl, of course I know that. Absolutely. But she's right about Bruce. When I first heard him, I thought, well, that's very interesting, because in the early days when it was Bruce and I, he would say things, and I was such a novice back then.
You just believe it?
I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I'll try that. But you don't have any cats. I don't care. I'll try it anyway. I'll keep the stray cats out of my garden. I think the key word was torture.
Yeah.
But no, of course, Carla, I would never think that you meant that any other way.
You know the one thing about keeping critters out of the garden is really the only way that I've ever really focused on keeping something out of the yard is that motion activated sprinkler.
Yeah.
Because I'm not into trapping, and don't get me wrong, like I don't have a gopher issue,
right?
Or
but I
anything
know
like
what
that.
you mean. Just it's the same thing with a cat.
Yeah,
we have a spray bottle
That's
at
what
home.
I'm saying. So it's very effective, and I loved those motion activated sprinklers because they were very effective, more effective than the repellents.
Yep.
More effective than the
There's no chemicals involved. There's none of that
Don't get me
stuff.
wrong, like if I wanted to build a whole structure to keep out whatever it was, that's another thing. But sometimes it's just a matter of protecting one or two plants in amongst other plants.
Mm-hmm.
That motion activated sprinkler was a great way to do it. So, yeah. Don't know where I got off on that tangent. I think we were just talking about keeping cats,
animals away from your property, from your plants.
Yeah.
Keeping deer away. That's always a huge challenge for people that live in those areas.
Yeah, and and it's crazy how damaging those critters can be in one swoop.
Yeah.
So definitely got to be careful with that. All right, I think we are caught up on the questions again. So we're looking good.
There'll be a few more. Now we got a few minutes with this segment, and then one more after this.
Touch on something real quick.
Sure.
Let me go back to our. Here we go. Boom. The newsletter. We did the quote of the week, which was a wonderful transition into this time of year. So John had mentioned about frost in the newsletter and how they think that it only happens when air temperature drops below 32 degrees. But that's not always the case because frost forms on the surface, not in the air, which means cold, clear nights can create freezing conditions even when the thermometer reads 35 to 36. So what he's kind of mentioning is that the air temperature doesn't have to be 32 in order for it to be frost. What happens is, around the plant itself, settling air, cooler air, all of that can affect. We were talking about plants near the home don't get frost because the house radiates heat. But if it's only 20 feet away from the house, it could get frost.
Here's an analogy for those that follow football. So let's say it's September, still warm in many areas of the country.
Yeah.
And they'll say the outside temperature is 90 degrees, but on the field it's 100.
Yeah.
So the field temperature is different than the air temperature at the stadium. Pretty much like what you're alluding to.
Yeah. Very different in the environment.
Right.
And since we're getting into the time of year for frost, just to give you some tips, don't use plastic. And it's not that you can't use it. It's that, number one, plastic suffocates.
Yes.
Number two, if you accidentally leave it on through the day,
it's going to heat up.
Way more damaging for the plants.
It's going to heat up, right? It's like a little greenhouse.
Yes. So whether it's clear plastic or solid plastic, don't use plastic because it's not great. Don't use blankets. Number one, blankets.
Talk about suffocating.
Well, and they can get very heavy, especially if there's any rain or dew. And now you could be talking about breaking branches, crushing plants, damaging things. Use a very lightweight sheet if that's what you have. Frost cloth is always wonderful.
Hold that thought.
All right.
Frost cloth. Okay, hold that thought. We have to take a break. Back after these messages. One more segment coming up here on Garden America. Just like that, we are back from the break. Thank you to those that are tuned into Biz Talk Radio, the rest of you on Facebook Live. And just prior to this break, we were talking about the do's and don'ts. Don't cover plants with blankets, so on and so forth, Tiger. And Anything else regarding that we should not be doing?
We were just talking about, this is the time of year for frost. You're going to start to get those warnings. You're going to start to get that information about, a cold night coming along. And sometimes the plants are not ready for it. You need to protect them.
Right.
Sometimes you have those plants that are marginal for growing in your region and you need to take a little extra care. So, the best thing aside from frost cloth, which frost cloth is basically a fabric that is very lightweight, breathable, and it just covers the plant enough to kind of protect the frost from sitting on the plant so it doesn't damage any of the foliage or branches, but a lightweight sheet. If you've got that...
So the air can still circulate, right?
Yeah, the air can still circulate. It's light enough so that way it's not crushing the plant. You know what's funny, too, is that... there's not a lot of use for these besides your mattress, but those fitted sheets.
Oh yeah, of course.
The elastic,
right, so that it fits.
Right. Those are actually really good to use because it kind of is that shape where it cinches around a plant or a bush, and then you can always it's not going to blow off. One of the hardest things about a flat sheet, the ones that are not fitted, you put it on a plant, but then you have to kind of wrap it around or
tuck it around
or tie it or weight it down. Well, with the fitted ones, they automatically kind of go to a smaller end. So if you put it over a tree or a shrub, it kind of naturally fits around there. So those fitted sheets are really nice.
Good idea.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend. I don't even know what number this would be, but how thread count is important, 1,000.
Well, that's for
Egyptian
comfort. That's
conch.
for comfort. Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend your 1,000 thread count.
3,000
sheets,
Egyptian, fitted sheets.
But you can get some nice
cheap, of course,
cheap sheets from the store.
Cheap sheets.
And
cheap sheets, like your cheat sheet.
Yeah, and it's good to use, and they're readily available. I'm sure everybody always has an extra sheet laying around here or there, or the old ones. The old ones that you've got new ones.
Yes,
keep the old ones, and now you have them for your plants. So there you go. That's the way you protect frost.
It's beginning to look a lot like a sunny day.
It's beautiful out, right?
It's really nice.
Clear skies, sunny. It's going to be warm. Lots going on in San Diego. Today's the big, not championship game, but the San Diego soccer team is playing for their spot in the championships this evening. It's Black Friday is over. So what is? Oh, Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday. Yes.
Small Business Saturday.
Okay.
So if you're going to go shopping today, today's the recommendation to go and
support your small business,
small garden centers or small businesses.
Speaking of things happening or not happening today, I think this is one of the first weekends we've done the show here where your son Isaac didn't have a lacrosse or a sporting thing that he was taking off at 6 a.m. to do.
Yeah, that'll be next weekend.
Next week? Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Tomorrow we have flag football for him. So.
Now didn't you have to drive a couple of weeks ago way out to
Norco
for a tournament or flag football?
Yeah, lacrosse next weekend is just near an Oceanside though, so don't have the schedule yet on that yet. So we'll see. But it's fun getting into the holidays with all the stuff going on. The kids love it.
Keep you busy, of course. Yeah, it's for the kids love it.
Yeah.
And I assume you're decorating the.
Yeah, we're starting to decorate. When you walked into the house, you saw Janine started putting the Christmas stuff out, and we're starting to decorate around to kind of make it more festive.
You've got lights. I see lights over there.
Yep, I'll put the lights up today or tomorrow.
Around out back here?
Not so much back here, just more in the front.
In the front.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have many people over this holiday or not, but sometimes we decorate back here, sometimes we don't. Just depends if we're entertaining.
Yeah. Because you have these lights here, these clear ones that are year-round, right?
Yeah, those are just year-round market lights to kind of help illuminate the area. But yeah, it's coming along. Oh, which brings me to the joke. The Garden America.
Oh, the John's weekly one-panel joke.
Yes, and
it's just a joke.
It is just a joke. I don't know if I can pull it up.
I saw it real quick there in the newsletter.
Yeah, but
is that my?
And it was regarding the lights on the Christmas tree. Let me see. Does it come up here? No. It's only in the cover, right? And we can't always read it.
It has to do with the format of the phone and.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me go back. Okay, I mean, I'll try to get the gist of it.
Because you can't see the whole thing there, right?
No. Christmas, something with LED Christmas lights. And we've talked about this before because another thing that you can do to protect your plants from frost is
LED.
cover them with lights, right? Like the lights to be able to kind of like keep the frost down. And you wrote, only if you want your tomatoes to file a complaint, tell them incandescent or nothing. And I don't know the joke, but the gist of it is you cannot use LED lights.
They don't give off heat.
They don't give off heat.
That's the whole point of why they're nice to have in the house.
Exactly. So on your tropical plants that you're trying to keep frost from settling on, you cannot use LED Christmas lights on them to keep the frost off. You need to have the
old-fashioned ones,
incandescent bulbs that do give off a bit of warmth on the plant, and then that plant now will be protected in the wintertime through the cold nights. So it's a great tip if you've got those and you've got some plants that you want to keep and you don't want to cover them. You can put those lights on them, and that'll keep them warm as well. And those lights are safe to use outside. I mean, right? Everybody uses them on their home or outside for Christmas. So it's not like you don't want to use indoor lights. You might run the risk of getting electrocuted or something.
That's going to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We controlled our own destiny today.
It's like the old Outer Limits show back in the 60s. We control the transmission. We control the vertical, the horizontal. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are heading into the holidays. Yep. We're back next week with John. Everything's back to normal. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in, those on Biz Talk Radio. And those of you on Facebook Live, it's always good to see you. Always good to read the questions and the comments. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, as I mentioned, the rest of the week, and we'll do it again next week right here on Garden America. Take care.